And I saw T.I. talking about how he didn't want you. He basically didn't want you jumping into the beef, so to speak, right? King Harris as well. A 24-year-old just walked straight into one of the nastiest beef going on in hip-hop right now. Dropped a song he made without even telling his father, and 50 Cent has been completely quiet ever since, while the whole internet is losing its mind. But what exactly did Demani Harris say on that track that got everybody shook? How did a son step into a grown man's war? To understand why Demani Harris dropping a diss track became one of the biggest moments in hip-hop this year, you need to know how we even got here. Because this beef did not start with some random shot fired out of nowhere. It began with a Vozu battle that never happened, and a level of disrespect that the whole Harris family decided they were not going to let slide. The tension between 50 Cent and T.I. goes back almost 20 years, built on competitive shots in interviews, snitching accusations, and that kind of bad blood that stays quiet in rap for years before it finally spills over. The newest chapter started in February 2026 when T.I. went on the Nightcap podcast and said straight up that he had completely lost respect for 50 Cent, claiming that the two of them had already privately agreed to do a Vozu battle to celebrate their catalog together, and 50 Cent backed out when the time actually came to make it happen. You and 50 Cent got a beef or something, man? Me and 50 Cent. Cool. I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and is not offended by mine. 50 Cent responded the way he always does, not with music or a real diss track, but by going on social media to troll. He posted an unflattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny Harris, on Instagram, clowning on how she looked. And that one post completely changed the energy of what had been, up until that point, a fairly normal rap back and forth. Going at a man's wife and putting her out there for the whole internet to laugh at is a completely different kind of move. And that is exactly what set the whole Harris family off. T.I. came back with music, dropping several diss tracks, including War and The Right One, which called out 50 Cent by name and brought up all the beefs he has lost over the years against Rick Ross, Fat Joe, Jadakiss, and Cameron. His older son, King Harris, went even further, getting on Instagram and saying some very personal things, including talking about 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, and then dropped his own diss track called Suze while wearing a shirt with her picture on it. Then Demani Harris stepped in. I saw T.I. talking about how he didn't want you, he basically didn't want you jumping into the beef, so to speak. Right. Yes. And King Harris as well. And talking about, 50 Cent's mom? No, we didn't really have a conversation. Demani Harris, 24 years old, has been slowly building his name in independent hip-hop, making the kind of thoughtful, personal music that doesn't always go viral but proves you can really rap. His 2023 project, The Process, showed he had real talent, and the people who had been following him already knew it. Most of the world just hadn't caught on yet, and all of that was about to change. On February 26, 2026, Demani Harris dropped Ms. Jackson completely on his own, with no label backing and without saying a single word to T.I. beforehand. T.I. found out about the track the same way everybody else did, by seeing it on the internet. The track that literally broke the internet. What made Ms. Jackson different from everything else that had come out of this whole beef wasn't just that Demani Harris had the guts to drop it. It was how thought out the entire thing was. While King Harris had been going at 50 Cent off pure emotion, Demani came with something that felt precise, calculated, and intense. He sat down and really planned every single line. No cursing anywhere in the song. Deep references layered throughout. A concept so clear that the moment people press play, they instantly understood exactly what he was doing, and could not stop listening. The song samples a classic Outkast 2000 hit Ms. Jackson, and flips its original meaning. The original song is about apologizing over a broken family, and Demani Harris takes that same feeling and turns it into something far more aggressive. He sets the whole song up as a direct letter to 50 Cent's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who tragically died in a suspicious house fire back in 1983 when 50 Cent was only 8 years old. The cover art he chose shows a burning house, and none of that was by accident. The lyrics are built around 21 questions aimed straight at 50 Cent's character, which is itself a reference to 50 Cent's 2003 hit 21 Questions. Each question digs deeper into what Demani Harris sees as 50 Cent's pattern of going after women and building his career off of other people's suffering. He opens the song by asking whether 50 Cent's mother is really happy with the kind of man her son turned out to be, and the intensity only ramps up from there. The lines that hit people the hardest were these. I offered him a chance to reunite with you, and I'll do it and nothing left to do, so I just send him to you, Ms. Jackson. He also calls 50 Cent a firebug, and he is not using that word in any good way. He means the kind of person who burns things down when they don't get what they want, which is a clear shot at the unproven story about a fire at the house of 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend Shani Thompson back in 2008, when the two of them were in a legal fight over their child. On top of that, Demani Harris takes 50 Cent's own song, Many Men, and flips the title to say, Many men sin, but don't profit like you from it. Basically, he is saying 50 Cent built his entire brand off of other people's pain, and kept collecting money from it. XXL magazine even called the track scathing. Reactions online were wild. Some people were saying things like, Demani Harris just wrote 50 Cent's eulogy on an Outkast flip, while others argued that bringing a dead woman into a rap beef is a line you just do not cross, no matter what 50 Cent did first. Both takes were out there at the same time, and that tension is a big part of why the song kept spreading like wildfire. What made the story even more interesting was hearing Demani Harris explain how it actually went down. He went on The Breakfast Club on March 5th and broke it all down. Somebody told me, this is too good. This is too good not to put out. I just do it because this is how I felt. This was on my mind. That's how I express myself. And it could just stay on the hard drive. I don't even have to hear it again. I just needed to get it out. He added, yeah, if you need to put it out, it doesn't need to just stay on the drive. And he listened. Honestly, he skipped T.I. completely because he already knew his father would have something to say about it. You didn't even ask him. No, because he probably would have had input, and then I would have to choose to ignore him or go my own route. By March 9th, the track had already crossed 3 million combined streams and views across all platforms. For a 24-year-old releasing music independently, with no major label behind him, that kind of number doesn't just change your week, it changes your whole career. And then there's 50 Cent silence, and what came after. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. If you know 50 Cent, you know he doesn't let stuff like this slide. This is the same man who spent years trolling Ja Rule into irrelevance, who went at Rick Ross so hard it ended up in court, and who has made it his whole personality to never let anybody get the last word. So when Demani Harris dropped Ms. Jackson and the whole internet started talking, everyone was waiting to see what 50 Cent would do, and then he basically did nothing. No diss track. Just a few posts on Instagram, which he deleted shortly after, and then moved on to promoting his Power Origins TV project like none of it had ever happened. The most direct thing 50 Cent said about the whole situation was in a caption where he basically told everyone that he didn't need to rap, because the Harris family needed him to rap, not the other way around. And then he went completely quiet. On his Instagram Live around February 28th, he came across completely unbothered, spending most of the time talking about streaming numbers and sales, basically saying that nobody was actually buying or listening to any of the diss tracks the Harris family was putting out. That, my friends, is classic 50 Cent strategy. You control what the fight is even about. You don't let the other side decide the terms, and you stay calm while they keep turning up the heat on themselves. The one shot he did take came through a Power Origins theme song he released on March 6 featuring Leon Thomas, with lyrics many interpreted as going at the harassment and assault accusations that T.I. and Tiny Harris have both faced and denied over the years. He never mentioned T.I. by name, but he didn't need to for people to get the message. Then Rick Ross jumped in from the sidelines, the way he always does whenever 50 Cent's name is in the headlines, because those two have their own long history of bad blood going all the way back to 2009. Ross got on Instagram stories and told people to stream T.I.'s diss track The Right One, calling it fire. He even commented on King Harris's Sue's video, the one where King Harris is wearing a shirt with 50 Cent's mother's photo on it, and asked King Harris to send him one in a 3XL. 50 Cent hit back at Rick Ross with a post saying that he and others like him only bring up his name when they need the attention and the money that comes with it, and then left it alone, without saying anything about the shirt specifically. But Demani Harris wasn't finished either. On March 6, he dropped another track called Pew Y, which went after 50 Cent's ex-Joy and the abuse allegations she had made, which 50 Cent has denied. At that point, the whole situation had traveled a very long way from its starting point, Just two rappers arguing about a battle show, and it had now reached a level that felt genuinely personal for everyone involved. The commentary community online was completely split on how to feel about it all. On one side, people were giving Demani Harris his flowers for actually spitting bars and defending his family with real craft instead of just yelling on Instagram. On the other side, a lot of people felt that going after 50 Cent's mother, a woman who was tragically killed when 50 Cent was just a little kid, was a line that should have been left alone, no matter what 50 Cent did first. You can't argue with that. But what nobody can deny is what this whole moment did for Demani Harris as an artist. Before February 26, he had been building quietly, and most people outside his core fan base had never even heard of him. After dropping Ms. Jackson, he was suddenly sitting across from Charlemagne on The Breakfast Club. His streams had tripled, and people were finally talking about him as a rapper in his own right, not just as T.I.'s son. Whether he planned it that way, or whether it was really just about protecting his mother, is something only he knows for sure. But the way T.I. reacted when he finally heard the song tells you exactly where it all landed. Do you think Demani Harris went too far? Let me know what you think in the comments section. And don't forget to click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.